Hello, everyone. You have tapped into Madam Frequency, and this live is about tapping into your goal for 2026. Again, tapping into your gold. What lights you up? What's your fire? What's that burning thing inside of you that keeps pulling you forward? How can that become more and more alive so you can light up the world with your gifts, so you can light up other people around you? Because boy, do we need your light. Do we need people that are in the places they're called to be in right now? And I'm so passionate about bringing this conversation forward. And I'm passionate about people being alive in their gifts, being alive in their life. And I know what it feels like to not feel alive in your life, to not feel like you're the main character and you're the movie and you're the one that is experiencing these things. I know how it feels to fall in the background, to fall into depression, to fall into, why is this happening to me? And I am just lit up around this conversation. So I'm excited to bring this forward. Excited to speak right into you. If you have found this, it's because you're ready for this message. And I'm just going to delight in the fact that I get to be the one that can serve you in what we're about to say. So a couple of things, some housekeeping stuff is take what feels resonant and leave the rest. Don't even worry about what is not serving you. But if something feels like it's pulling you, dive a little deeper, listen a little closer, and see if it's something that is calling you. So a couple of things. I do want to share a couple stories, and also, when I was thinking about what I'm going to bring forward for Gold 2026, how does somebody really alive in their gold, their thing inside of them? How do they really light their fire again? I thought about so many different stories that I can bring forward, and also at the same time, I was just like, okay, let me go on a run, let me do my thing of where I really receive downloads, and I just started writing, and I am going to have a couple notes here because I don't want to forget some things that I wanted to bring forward, or that just, nudged me of what is supposed to bring forward. This is going to be really candid. I am going to probably mess up, probably say probably say all those things. So I'm really just being candid in that way. But regardless of that, I do have some things to sprinkle on you here. The first thing is that joy and, our aliveness, our light, and the pieces inside of us that are so great, they are sometimes just bogged down by life. I had a mentor tell me once, joy doesn't live on the frequency of striving. And I finally got it. I was like, oh yeah, they're not in the same world. When you're striving for something, it is not it. So for example, if you see someone that's beautiful, she's just stunning, magnetic, beautiful, but it's not someone that's trying to be beautiful. We know the difference between someone that's trying to be beautiful as opposed to someone that is in their skin, feeling their beauty, feeling their magnificence, or also just blissful, not even thinking about that, not drawing too much attention to that because they're just in their element, right? That's something that's so stunning and so beautiful. We can almost feel the aliveness in it. So when you're thinking about joy or thinking about the things that you're seeking, thinking about what is its own playing field of its own frequency, it is actually feeling how it is in its essence, right? So when we think about ourselves, that's the thing. The most alive, you are already such a magnificent being. And it's sometimes more of the things that we need to peel away so that we can become more and more alive. So of course, as we're moving into the new year, 2025, moving into 2026, it's more of well, what do we want to let go? That's a similar dance that we like to do. But this time, I want us to think about it a little bit differently. So the thing is, there's things that are holding us back. And one of my favorite sayings from a pastor sermon that I was handed this when I was about 21. And the sermon was about, the boat is not meant to carry water. And if the boat starts carrying things that it's not meant to carry, it begins to sink. Yes, The boat is not meant to carry water. When the boat is carrying things it is not meant to carry, it begins to sink. And that is what happens. We start taking on identities that we have put in our head about who we are, what we can do, what we're capable of. We have been putting identities on after we're in relationships that don't work, friendships that end, all of those different things. And that is what starts bogging us down into dimming, and creating something from our fears, from our limiting beliefs. And it's not in essence who you really are. It's created from these things that has happened, and it's happened to us. So the first thing to look at is, what have I created? Now, there could be so many things. But one of the fun ways to start is actually just, okay, like, what is the most thing that's on my heart right now? Because that's, for some reason, it's pulling you in this season. So when you're looking at that, we're looking at what's in the way. What's in the way? What's holding me back? Where did I start developing that thought? And how can I go about changing it? Okay. So I'll give you an example from my personal life. When I was a young teen, let's say about 12 and 13, preteen to young teen, I unfortunately had the experience of being left in a warehouse where mostly high school and college students were. Now, there's a lot of drugs and alcohol, and it's dark, and the people that were with me, they were having so much fun that they decided to kind of go off on their own, and they were all older than I was, and no one kind of stood back or to pay attention where I was. I wasn't supposed to be there. My parents didn't know that I was there, but unfortunately this is the case, and it happened multiple times. But let me just tell you about this one time in particular. The people, they go off and they're doing their own thing, and I know they're going to come back for me eventually, but since I'm so scared, I decide to just wait in the same spot that they left me, because I don't want to get left when they're going home. And they go on to do their thing. There's no cell phones back then, so there was no way to find out, hey, you're going to come back soon. How's it going to... It was literally just a waiting game. It was really scary, and I was really sad. And it was really a defining moment in my life. In those moments, I decided that, hey, something can happen to me right now, and no one really cares whether I live or something bad happens. There's no one here to protect me. I got to figure it out on my own. And I decided that I was on my own. I decided I had no protection around me. And I decided to look for the safest options. So I looked around, I scanned the room, I got into conversations with some people, and whoever I felt the safest around, I tried to engage in conversation as long as possible until they were kind of tired of me. And then the next person, and then the next person. And then eventually, it was time to go home, and the fear was over. And when it happened again, things happened again this way. And I'm going to spare you the rest of the story for right now. I'll tell you more as you get along and as we get to know each other more, and if you watch more videos, because this is not about that. This is about some of the things that have happened to us. Doesn't mean that we deserve them. We didn't deserve them. What happened was not right. What happened was horrible. What was awful. It shouldn't have been happening to me. And I have gained some of my biggest blessings from that moment. One of the things I've gained is the freedom to talk to anybody. To feel like there is no one in the room that is unworthy for me to talk to. Not only unworthy, It's like okay for me to talk to, invite, and I don't like people feeling alone. I like them to feel invited, welcomed in my presence, safe in my presence. And that has been a gift to me. That has been a huge gift to my life, to my success. To the previous job I had, I was a sales director for a medical spa for 8 years, in which I loved my clients, got to consult with my clients, got to just pierce through anything false, just got to be so real. And it has given me the gift of seeing people and seeing people of their greatness. Now there was a lot of bad things that I created in that moment. But what I am encouraging you to do is not go back to these moments for all the bad. We can go there because we want to check them out, of course. We want to release those. But I also want you to go back for the gift. What's the gift? What are the leave behinds? Because what we want to do is, the reason why sometimes we can't break through is because those gifts that it's left with us, they're so great and they have helped us also in life. But sometimes the smaller things can, and the hurtful things and the trauma part can also pull us apart. But we can separate them. We can, because we are the ones that created a lot of the thoughts and the feelings. I'm the one that created I wasn't worthy. Just because someone did that does not mean that I wasn't worthy. I created that. So if I can go back and look at what were the gifts also, how can I leave behind what doesn't serve me, but how can I take fully on the thing that is gifted in me, with me, to the next level? And that's what I have done. And I have done this over and over with a lot of my clients and helped them see things that they weren't seeing before. And I want to bring this conversation forward because I believe it's something that has changed their life and has changed my life. So that's one of the steps. The steps into you going into your gold of 2026 is alivening your gift. Just one of them. You can go in and just start digging with one of them. And then next, do some more to follow, but at least take one. Take one. How can you drop more into that? How can you drop more into that gifted piece of you? The second thing is sometimes our gifts has a shadow. Okay? The shadow could be coming, again, because it's coming from the same place and it's coming from out of what you created, and that's what we want to let go. But some other gifts, even though they can be really great, there's two different reasons why we have them. Why we use them. Sometimes it's used by us because it is just calling us forward. It's being pulled out of us. When I'm with my clients that are here with me in the studio for aesthetics, or whether I'm with my clients speaking to them one-on-one on walking in alignment in their life, with elevating their life, with bringing in more financial blessings, with creating more abundance, with diving more with quality in their life. It's amazing. It's flowing through me right now. Like the conversation is just flowing through me. But there are some times that we feel inadequate, or we're doing something in order to gain success, to gain the accolades, to gain validation. And those energies of coming from two places are so different. So sometimes we're either going after something in order to get something, or sometimes we're just giving it and getting it because it's just flowing through us. And that is going to be the difference. So the second thing that I want to bring up here is that, so the first thing was that the frequency of joy and the things that we're creating is not created on that same frequency, right? We're not trying to, but we're being it, right? We're not trying to be beautiful. We are being beautiful. We are stepping into the frequency of happiness, of joy, of all of that, not in order to, and not to get something, but actually just letting it alive and breathe alive within us. The second piece of what we're talking about here in finding your gifts, just noticing when we are seeking something, noticing what we're seeking it for. I know for me, I had huge ambition. I really wanted to be a six-figure earner. Now, early on, when I was in my 20s, when I was 20, I was like, no doubt, I'm going to figure out how to get 6 figures. Right about now, almost 20 years later, that would be like equivalent to 300,000. And probably that's what is on my list next. But still, I was just so determined. But back then, it was because I was so determined for how I thought that was going to make me feel. And by the time I was 25, 26, I had met the mark and above. And when I hit the number, I was so disappointed. I was disappointed because I thought that was going to give me validation, beauty, solve all my problems, give me the relationship of my dreams, all of the different things. Like no one would cheat on me if this happened, if I had this, if whatever, all the things. But that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case. Whenever we give ourselves over to thinking that something is going to give us the validation, something's going to give us the success, something's going to give us the accolades, we're sourcing from the wrong source. We're sourcing from the wrong source. So what I want you to look at is those things that you want, those things that you're looking to create. Why are you wanting to create them? Is it because of validation? Is it because of success? How can you match that frequency? How can you give yourself that feeling right now? So then the right things are drawn to you. You're not having to be a certain way for something to happen, but for the right things to gravitate towards you. How can you tap more into that? All right. So we got a few things going on here. We talked about your frequency. It's more about letting go as opposed to striving for, right? It's more about just letting go anything that's blocking you and letting yourself arise. We talked about tapping into your gifts, looking at some unique ways of bringing out what you have been truly gifted with. And then we talked about looking at what it is, whatever is calling you. Why are you wanting to create it? Why are you wanting to create that? How can you shift that from being a creation of just who you are, an extension of who you are, a blissful feeling of who you are, as opposed to seeking it in order to, right? I'm going to give you another example, actually, it just came to me, is someone that is a giver. They always say overgiving is hurtful. You know why? It's hurtful to the person that's overgiving because then they're moving into sacrifice. They're moving into things that actually hurt them to give. And actually, it's something that they're seeking. They're not doing it on purpose, but it's something that they're seeking. They're seeking either validation or they're seeking fearful of not being liked. That's something that I can also continue to work through. So I'm sure so many people. And I'm sitting here not perfect. I'm just sitting here hand in hand, continuing to get up every day, even on the bad days, and readjusting, realigning, and continuing to open for opportunities to light up, to share that light, and step into what I'm called for. But the second piece is that overgiver, when they're giving out of their love, out of their frequency, out of sharing just because they get to share something, when they're giving out of their abundance, when they're giving out of their flow, when they're giving in that feeling, it's the best. You get to dance in that flow with them, and it's amazing. But as we know, the difference of someone that gives you something and they're expecting something in return, so different. So we can be doing something out of just the extension of who we are, or we can be doing something in order to. And those two frequencies are so, so different. Lastly, I'm going to leave you with, three things. The next is forgiving. Forgiving. Unforgiveness, as Joyce Meyer puts it, is like, guys, my light came out. This is the difference between having the light and not having the light. But you know what? Because I was determined of this not necessarily being perfect, but being real and being what it is, I'm going to continue. And I appreciate your patience, and I get to do it like this as well. So the last thing I'll say, never mind, it's not the last thing. But what I will say is that unforgiveness. So Joyce Meyer says, unforgiveness is like drinking poison, hoping your enemy would die. Unforgiveness is really like harboring something that's so taintful. Something could have happened to us a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and it can feel like you're reliving this over and over again. One, because we're harboring the unforgiveness, or also just being so pained by it. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't feel pain, because there's things that happen. We should be able to feel our feelings. And some of you also know that I'm a somatic healing guide. So I also do somatic healing facials. And somatic healing is really about tapping into the sensations and feeling. So I really believe in that. But the piece is, just because you will not tolerate something doesn't mean that you can't forgive. Now, you can still forgive, meaning just letting go of the experience, forgiving for the time that it was, for the experience that you had, for who you were when that happened. Forgiving yourself is huge. Forgiving yourself for what you did not know before you learned it. That is also something that you can peel away. So right now, of course, you're not going to let all of that go in just our one sitting here. But why it's really important is just to open the doors, to plant the seeds, and to get to notice what has been possibly holding you back from everything that you are stepping into. Now, lastly, what I really want to leave with is that you don't have to do all this work to be magnificent. All we are doing is growing, When you are looking to start working out, and a lot of us have workout goals for 2026. When you start working out, you don't have to wait until you have a six-pack to start feeling good. The moment that you start stepping towards this frequency, you already start alivening it. Things are already going to start changing. Things are already going to start coming to you. And the more and more you plug in, the more and more you look at where you're being called, the more and more you start shining your light, or even have the opening to say, okay, I want to know more. I want to know more of how to do this. I want to know more of what the will is. The more is going to come to you. More is going to continue to come to you. So that is really what has been on my heart to say. I just have so much, and I want to honor the time that you took to, take time to listen to this. And there's so much more about tapping into who you are and tapping into your gold, and also doing this together. So for those of you who just wanted some tidbits about tapping into your gold, I'm going to shift over to the invitation to work with me deeper, and also a resource that is able to help you with tapping in right away. And it's only going to get better and better. So if you are complete with the conversation and the call, you can go ahead and step off. And for those of you that are interested in learning what services I have to offer, then you can stay on, and I'll tell you a little bit more about what I do, and also other ways of getting in contact with me. And for now, of course, you can find me on Instagram as Madam Frequency, on TikTok as Madam Frequency, and some of you that have my personal Instagram, it's Stacy Wijesuriya. All right. Before I let you go, let me just check my notes, because I definitely want to just see if there's anything that I can really offer here that really, really can help. Oh my gosh, one of my most favorite things to say, if you've ever heard me speak on a podcast, or if you've ever heard me live, or if you've ever heard me talk before, if I just have a moment with anyone, my favorite thing to talk about is regret. Regret is also something that continues to hold us back from who we are. And I think that some things are there for us to learn, of course. But for example, there was a relationship that I was in that definitely went way past its prime. It went way past where it needed to go. There was a lot of infidelity, hurtful, toxic, physical activity, all types of things that happened. But what I realized is also the person that was in there, me, I had to grow to let it go. I had to grow to be the kind of person that was confident enough to realize, just if something feels off for me, that it's okay. It doesn't have to go all the way to someone, doing the most drastic thing to me for it to be gone. Just because it feels off, it is okay. And not to like release anything that's bad, but when it's getting to a point of, you know what, this doesn't feel like it was aligned with my values and who I am. And if someone can't, continue to make progress with you, then it's okay. So I had to also grow to be the confident person in a relationship. That took work to grow that inside of me. So why I say that is because if someone took you back, even when I think about myself, if someone took me back 10, 12 years ago and, said, would I have done anything different? Yes, of course, I would do so many things different. But actually, in actuality, if someone took me back and put me back in that same place, I would be acting out of the same experience and knowledge I had at the time. So I would have probably did things I would have done things the exact same way as they were. And honestly, I would do it all again, the same exact way, to have the life that I have now, for have the opportunities that I have now, to have the children and the husband and the people that I have in my life right now. So believe me, it's worth it. Just keep going, and the rest will be shown to you. Let's see. Okay, so let me just double check if there's anything else I had forgotten. Okay. I want to leave with just this one tidbit. So I also always loved being left with something very tangible that I actually can do that can help with getting to the next level, getting to the next step, changing my thoughts. Amazing. So if you think about two plants, I have plants in the back. If you think about two plants, and one of my favorite other sayings that's also in my book is the easiest way to kill something off is to not feed it. So if there's something on one side of things that you want to grow and things that you want to do, what you want to do is continue to water that plant. Continue to water it. But the thing is, sometimes we're thinking so much of the things that we don't want is that we're giving more energy to that as opposed to what it is that we do want. Now, everyone knows that thoughts are things, but one of my favorite things to do and sit with my clients is realize that you cannot control your thoughts. Thoughts are coming at you 100 miles a minute. Like, it's coming so fast. There's no way to control them. If you push against them, again, you're just adding more energy to them. You're not going to delete them. So what you want to do is, instead of having to push against the thoughts that we don't like, what you're going to do is just continue to water. Like, notice the thought that you didn't like, the negative thought, whatever it is that's on your lack side. Notice that and allow it to fall away, and keep on planting and watering the things that it is that you do want. Spend more energy. When you see them, okay, I see you. That's a normal thought that I always think. Let it pass. And then focus on what it is that you're wanting to create. How can this, not like, why is this not coming to me? But ask better questions. How can that get closer to this? Who are the people that are, in this environment? How can I step into a new frequency of myself that will really take me to the next level? I'm open to hearing the right messages. I'm open to seeing what I'm not seeing in this area already. Things like that. That's going to help you draw it more and more and more into your frequency right now. So again, cheers to your next level, you bringing out your gold, you stepping into your fire, you looking into what's called, God is, one of my neighbors reminded me of this quote that I love. It says, God does not call the equipped, but he equips the called. So continue to follow those nudges, wishing you the best 2026. And if you're looking, so now I'm going to tell you about what you can do to tap in. So if you're looking for ways to tap in with me, I am excited to share more of my stories, of my books and books that are coming. My ebooks, I'll start getting them on live. And again, you can tap in with me at Madam Frequency on Instagram, Madam Frequency on TikTok, and soon, madamfrequency.com. Now, the second piece is I have a GPT. So if you have Chat GPT, I have curated a GPT as well that is all about the golden frequency. It's going to be called, or it is called, the Golden Frequency Coach GPT. So in order to get access to that, it's $88. It's a lifetime access. And because you will become part of the community, you will continue to get insights and downloads as things come. And as I continue to expand, I will continue to upload my books, upload our teachings, upload things that I find into that GPT. And it'll continue to just get better with your questions, better with more people that use it. And just right now you start getting like all the books that I've read. I just put them all in there, like it's as if you had asked all the questions already in ChatGPT, but they're like my questions and the things that I would say, and like kind of spoke out through the filters of the programs and books and things that I'm interested in and that they learn. So if that feels like it would serve you, again, it's just like something that you just add to your ChatGPT, and it doesn't interrupt any of your regular ChatGPT. You can always go in and do your regular stuff that you do there, but it's going to give you a little sidebar click, kind of like an app, to go in there and you can ask questions to that piece. It's integrated with ChatGPT. So it has all of the processes of ChatGPT, but it has a little bit more of answering through this filter of your golden frequency, of stepping into your frequency, and a lot of what we're talking about right now. So that's one way. The second way is I do have personal coaching options, and I take my clients through a program called, what I like to call is Divine Assignment Alignment, or just their Divine Alignment, Feminine Frequency, or Coded in Gold. So it depends on where you are and the things that you're looking for to gravitate towards you. And if any of those feel like it's calling you, you can go ahead and send me an email and let me know that you may be interested, or you can also DM me on Madam Frequency on Instagram. I'm there a little bit more, so you can definitely DM me there if you have any questions about hopping onto a one-on-one chemistry call and seeing if coaching would also work with you. I have a 3-month, 6-month, and 9-month program, and I would say most people that do my 3 months hop into at least 6 months with me. It's been an honor to serve people at that level, to walk with them as they're walking into their next evolution, their next version of themselves, and to let them come more and more alive. So if that's something that you're interested in tapping into, feel free to DM me. And lastly, I'm here, I'm going to be sharing more things like this. And you can also look at Madam Frequency on Facebook. I'm just starting to tap into creating a group. So more people that are interested in learning more about this, they can do that. So the link to the Golden Frequency Coach will be at the bottom. It's $88 until January 1st. And on January 1st, it will be going up to $111. And, just honored to serve you. And I'm excited about expanding the Golden Frequency Coach GPT option. And that's it. Tap in. Thank you again for your time, your energy. And I look forward to sharing a lot more of things that would move the needle for you. And I look forward to talking to you soon. Okay, bye.